I hope you've said hi to your neighbor. I always say make sure you say hi to your neighbor. Maybe the government is looking for them. It's good to see everyone. I'll be very quick. I don't have a lot of time. I have a lot of stuff to download. My name is Douglas Waudo. I don't like talking much about where I work. I work for an international organization. I am the Regional Communications Officer for East and Southern Africa. I am born again. I love God with all my heart. I serve God. I am a father of one, and my wife is somewhere around. If you see a beautiful lady, she's the one. There she is. Yeah. And we left our daughter at home. She was born on Christmas Day 2 years ago. We left her at home because if she had come here, she would be fighting for this mic. And so I have a team with me. I don't know if they can just raise their hand. I will talk a bit towards the end. The team, my team. Okay, there are others out there. Let me get some things out of the way. I am an author of this. This is my second novel. It's called The Devil's Favorite Demons. It's a nice novel that speaks about it's basically Kenyan literature. It has a lot of humor and satire. It's out there because Washeka is a very good friend of mine and Centonomy is my family. I knocked the price by a half for today. So it's going for 500 bob only. Only. You're not even clapping. Only. My story has been featured in Making Sense, the book that Waithaka just showed you. So my work basically here is very easy. I'll gloss over my story and I'll encourage you to get the book. The book tells the story better. So you can get the book today and it will really help you because it has a lot of financial principles that will help you from real people. Let me start by saying this. I'm not perfect with money. I'm still on a journey. There's a temptation when you stand here where there's a perception that you've gotten it all figured out. And so I want to encourage you that we probably are all on the same, in the same boat. It's just that there are a few principles probably have applied better that you can learn from my story. Let me start my story before I joined Centonomy. 2003, I got to India, studied there. I was there for 3 years. And I became a DJ. I used to DJ in a club. I used to be paid 32K every month. I was being sent money from home. So I got into the culture of just spending because I knew money was guaranteed every month. There's a salary that will come, and my dad will send money from home. What I didn't know was I was establishing a very reckless lifestyle. So 3 years back, later I came back home, and by the grace of God, I started working immediately. I entered into the NGO world in 2006. My salary started rising, and within a year or two, I was being paid 350,000 net hitting my account. I was around, I think, 25, 26 there. Interestingly, within a week or two, I never used to have anything in my account. We used to be paid on 24th. So around 30th, 1st, 2nd there, I was broke. Broke, like seriously broke. So I will borrow money from friends and to survive towards, the rest of the month, and then it's the same cycle. It went on for 5 years. And mostly it's just drinking and entertaining friends and having a good time. There was no new club that didn't know me in this town. I had a lot of friends. Half of them I didn't even know their names. I was on top of the world. I remember I used to hire cars every week, different cars. And I used to put a lot of pressure on the person who used to get for me the cars because I will need the latest number plate in town. If you don't have, I'll take my business somewhere else. So she used to be a lot of under pressure. Thank God she used to deliver. So I stuck with her for a few years. So I will hire a car, park it outside a club, drink the whole night, get into the car, drive at home, park it, sleep, wake up, drive it back to the club, park it, the same story. For me, there was no Monday, there was no Saturday, there's no Friday. Every day was a drinking day. And that's how my life was for 5 years. So there's this day I am driving to work and I'm listening to Capital FM and the lovely Washeke is talking about money. I used to hate when I'm listening to radio, when they stop playing music and someone starts talking, I switch. So I was just about. I was just about to switch. And then I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. So long story short, she said a statement that changed my life. She said, it was almost like a prophet talking to me. She said, some of you right now you're on the road going to work. It was 8 in the morning. Suppose you get to work and you get a letter on your desk that your job has been terminated. What happens to you? And I was like, by the way. And then I started, just playing scenarios like right now, if I get to work and I get that letter on my desk, what happens to me? And I'll ask you the same thing. What happens to you right now if on Monday you get that lovely letter? And they write it so well. They say, we really appreciate the time you've worked with us. You've been a very wonderful employee. And they go on and go on. And then there's that statement, however. We regret to tell you that. What happens to you? Think about it on a serious note. And I started playing scenarios, and the only scenario that I could figure was jumping into a bus, easy coach, and going back to the village. That was the only one. And I realized it is time I need to really put my life together. I got to the office. The first thing I did was Google. By the way, when I heard her on radio, I started memorizing the name because it's the first time I was hearing it. So Centonomy. I didn't want to forget. So I got to the office. The first thing was to go to Google and Google the word. And then I got to their website. I enrolled immediately without a thought. And immediately I called. And I talked to a lovely lady here. She's called Joanne. If you join Centonomy, you will definitely meet her. Long story short, it was Monday, Wednesday, I was in class. And for the next 10 weeks, I got, for the first time in my life, to sit in a class to be taught about money. Because there's this perception we have that we know it. People who have learned call it ignorance. So you think you know everything. And that's what I thought. I thought, it's my money, I know how to figure out. I sat in that class. The modules are here. I went to Centonomy 101. Those things, I learned all of them and they changed my life completely. What I did, I'm usually a very practical man, so you teach me, I do it. Mostly maybe to prove you wrong. So the first, we got somewhere about non-financial asset, and I remember it very well. And non-financial asset basically was, there are skills you have that are not necessarily money that you can use to generate an income. And immediately I realized I have this broad network of contacts within the NGO world that I can actually tap in. And long story short, I called one of the bosses, got a consultancy job. Within a month, I was being paid $500,000. Jumped on a plane, went to see my girlfriend, who is now my wife, to Dubai. Bwana asifiwe sana. So it encouraged me to work more harder if you want to travel harder, or to travel for a while. My life changed from there completely. So it opened, and I like this thing. You hear stories here. Let me tell you, they work. When you change the way you think, you change your life. You may think, look around and say, I don't have it all. You give all the excuses that Waithaka started with, you will remain like that. But if you decide I'm going to be different, you will be different. So my journey started from there, building, and I was so now, I moved out now from, this thing of financial freedom to now wealth creation. But then if you are 25 and above, and you hate January, you need to be in this program. Those guys, you always broke on January. In January, you need to be in this program. You will be taught how to manage your finances, how to plan your finances. One of the things that really helped me a lot was financial planning. How you plan your money, and especially around budgeting. And I love the definition of budgeting. Budgeting is basically telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. I love it. It's telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. So if you're those guys who are nilikuwa na ngiri moja jana hata sijui imeenda wapi, you need to be in this program because you need to tell your money where to go. The last time I was broke in January was 2014. Wednesday, this past Wednesday, I entered into a bank and I did a transaction of $250,000. And that cashier was looking at me like I'm a drug dealer. Like in the middle of January, I had to pinch myself. This is happening to me, Douglas Oudo. In January, mid-January. And that's what happens to you now when you plan your finances. So one of the things, I plan my life and I've planned my family very, very well. And I really thank God for that also and for the program. Because I'm just frustrated by story. If you want a lot of details, please read the book. Last year, my wife and I bought a plot here in Nairobi. I will not say exactly where, but it's around Karen. We bought a family plot for 11 million. We paid it cash. We are just waiting for the approval of our multi-million home that we start probably by first week of February. By December, we'll be in that house. If you asked me 2 years ago that I will be building a house that has a lift, that has a gym, that has a sauna, that has a swimming pool, that's the part you clap, for God. If you told me that 2 years ago, I'll probably just laugh at you. You know, like, what are you saying? I have a plan. I'm turning 39 in June this year. My plan, by the time I'm hitting 45, like 45, I'm hitting it today, I'll be on a golf course. I will have retired. That's my plan. Thank you. Now, so that we're on the same page, let me explain to you what my version of retirement means. I wake up in the morning, I watch CNN, then I drive to a golf course. And then in the afternoon, I read the scriptures or something and I serve God at some point. I have freedom for my time and my life to serve God and to do other things than to chase money. Because I've put mechanism and plans in place that money will be looking for me. I will not be looking for money. That for me is the definition of wealth creation. Where I do not wake up until I die looking for money. It's money looking for me. Sometimes I hide. I say, it's not enough, go back. The other thing I learned that helped my life, and I want to just dwell on this, then I close, is, and they say it better, more than I will ever do it in Centonomy. Non-financial assets. I like using it. It makes me feel very learned, that word. I learned it in Centonomy. Non-financial assets. Assets that are not financial. And one of the things that I will want you to pick from today, especially from my talk, is that God has given you some talents and gifts that you are sitting on that is supposed to bring you wealth. The challenge we have is that we have been raised in a system where we think that wealth only comes through employment. And so we've become prisoners and slaves to a system. And that is why young people, well-talented, are sitting at home looking for jobs. And yet they are supposed to be employers. One of the things I've told you is writing. I love writing. Writing for me is fun. So I sit at home, someone orders my book. It's on Amazon, it's on Jumia. Someone orders my book. I make money without sweating. Because I've used my gift to do that. One of the other things that Centonomy will help you also and will challenge you, And I like what Vanessa said. Vanessa said, this is not a quick, get-rich-quick scheme. This is not where you come here and plant seeds and, this miraculous is $1 million in your account. This is where you are challenged now to organize your life and to be able to have a plan to where you want to go. And one of the things that really worked for me was the fact that I am able to manage my time, I'm able to plan my life, and I'm able to take initiative. There's a scripture, I'll just throw it out to you, if you don't mind. Can I quote it? Yes. Is that okay? Yes. For those who are writing, you write Colossians chapter 4, verses 5. Colossians chapter 4, verses 5, one of my favorite scripture, it says, maximizing every opportunity. You take advantage of every opportunity that you have. I have become very good at that, where you look at, and I like looking at problems. Where what people consider problems, I see as opportunities. And always coming up with ideas. And also by nature of my work, I travel a lot also. And whenever I go even outside the country, I always look for ideas that I can bring back home to implement as a way of creating wealth. Let me challenge you with this as I close. Take advantage of the opportunities that you have and the giftings. Life was never meant to be a quick, rich stuff, miracle, and all these things. I am a student of the Bible. I have come to understand God very well. You can sit here the whole year. We come here back in 2020, December 2020. You pray and speak in tongues the whole year. You will still be the same. In fact, maybe the bank, you'll be owing the bank money. But I can pray here and I go out to work and God will bless me. I want someone, I like engaging. I want someone to read for me Genesis chapter 26 verses 12. Very quickly. Very quickly. If you can even jump here and use the mic, I'll really love it.
Genesis chapter 26 verses 12, the Message version. It says, Isaac planted crops in that land and took in a huge harvest. God blessed him.
Isaac planted crop and harvested a huge harvest because the Lord blessed him. God only blessed Isaac when he planted. Can you imagine if that scripture read, Isaac planted a seed and decreed and declared, and God blessed his harvest. The reason you're not where you are is because you've not taken initiative. This is a chance for you, this program. What I love about this program is very practical. And it's a program that will really challenge the way you think, your mindset. And for me, that's key. I remember when I came to St. Anthony and we were told what Waithaka was saying, having a budget. And we were told to track our expenses for 3 months. So because I'm a good student, I started tracking every expense. After 3 months, I looked at my tracker and I was shocked where my money was going. I was literally shocked. I'll give you a preview. 5K every month used to go to tips. Tips. You know, you're in a good mood, you're from a mall. Soja, kunywa chai. I was like a politician looking for votes. 48K eating outside. Eating outside. You know this burger here, there, you feel lazy. By the way, immediately after I joined Setonobi, up to today, I carry my food to the office. Regional communication officer. Because some of you are not that humble. Because you have to walk every day to some nice restaurant. But you're spending money. St. Anthony will tell you every day, if you spend 200 bob every day for 5 days a week for 1 year, you will have spent 48,000 on lunch alone. When I joined St. Anthony, I stopped going to a barber. I bought a shaver. Today I woke up, I shaved myself, by the way. The first time it took me like 3 hours. There was this annoying hair around here. But then I mastered. Nowadays it takes me 15 minutes, I'm done. I save 500 shillings after every 2 weeks, 1,000 a month on shaving alone. So when you hear someone is building a nice house, it's not miracles. It's discipline and it's planning. And then there was another thing, 60 bob every weekend used to go to buying newspapers. So for me, it was more of a status thing. Once on Sunday, you come in your pajamas, you go to the gate in slippers, you chit-chat there with the watches, then you buy the newspaper, then you walk there. It's like a 2 minutes walk to your house, but on Saturdays you walk for like an hour because people have to see you carrying newspapers. You stop to greet trees about his age. Some of you, your friends are making you poor. Can I repeat? Some of you, your friends are making you poor. You need to interrogate the people around you. Can I give you some example how they're making you poor? They're always visiting you, you're always cooking for them. If they're not visiting you, you're the one who always visits. You know you're spending money. If you're driving on fuel, if you're taking matatu on fare, you cross town every Saturday, like Jesus going to Nazareth. So my question is, what value is that friendship adding to your life and to your journey of wealth creation? Take initiative. Today, sign up, because that's the first test for you. Don't sit here like me and say, atu wanacharge how much? Ati kusoma tu hizo vitu unaweza download kwa internet. So you download. How much did you spend on Christmas over the holidays? Now you're sitting there very humble. Sometimes I always say, sometimes poverty is good because it makes some people humble. How much have you been spending that you can invest in this program? If I was you, I will sign up today. You know what I will do? Even if I don't have money, I will sign up by faith and I will go on my phone book. And I will call every person who knows me to send me 200 bob, 100 bob. I want to sign for St. Onome. Do you know you'll raise half of the money today if you do that? Today. And then look at your lifestyle, how you spend your money. There are some things you can cut off. You'll be saving money to invest in the program. Are we together? Yes. Tuko pamoja? Yes. Take initiative. Take initiative. There's something you can do. My life changed in a way that I look back and I thank God I made this program. Because without that knowledge, without that challenge of my mindset, I'll still be in the same pool of the waters I was in, thinking I know everything. But I was humble enough to go and sit in a class and be taught. That time when I came to St. Onome, I was a regional communication manager, managing 11 countries in Africa. But I had to come and be taught about, this is the table, this is whatever, this is what you need to do. So if you're those people who think you know it all, I want to challenge you know nothing until you go to this program. And it's one of the programs in town that is very flexible, that is very practical. Are we together? Yes. Since I came to St. Onome up to today, I've made over 10 million shillings from consultancy only. My free time, weekends, after I leave work, over 10 million. Last month, I think in June, I was given a check of close to $1 million. Just from work. And then I've become good at it. If I'm given a job and I'm not available because of my job, I also give other people. Especially things to do, go to the field and do wherever. I have a group of young guys, I send them to the field and they do the job. So you can always think and be creative. You know, don't leave an opportunity to, remember that scripture, Colossians 4:6. Maximize every opportunity.